It feels weird to do this kind of video again. You know, I started this channel with the Forgotten Land in mind and never really thought about how there are going to be more Kirby games for me to cover. But here we are. It's time for the post-Forgotten Land era, and the first title to talk about is not a Dream Collection 2 or expansion of an already existing minigame, but a fully fledged new spin-off, Kirby's Dream Buffet. Just like in my Forgotten Land Hopes and Fears video, I'm going to simply state what I wish to see and which aspects give me slight worries. Because my hopes are somewhat connected to my fears, it would be better to start with them. First of all, I don't know what to think about the recent approach of smaller Kirby games being released exclusively on the eShop. I completely understand the reason behind this decision. HAL is able to release new titles more consistently, experiment without taking the risk of starting a fully blown production that could lead to a failure, and in general more freedom how to approach development. Going by how they're doing this now for quite some years, it obviously pays off and helps bridging the waiting time until the next main game. There was a 5 years time gap between Forgotten Land and Star Allies, but it didn't feel too unbearably long because of Super Clash and Fighters 2. On top of that, you could argue that these little experiments are just what they are, experiments, and if they're successful enough, maybe HAL decides to create a standalone full game with all the frills, because you have to be aware that a Dream Buffet is going to cost a small amount of money, considering how there's probably not going to be Margalaw again, selling children gem apples for real money. But to be honest, I really doubt they're going to follow this idea. Right now there never was such a case, and at best there was just another eShop follow-up like Super Clash or Fighters 2. Another concerning problem is the sheer fact that a Dream Buffet, as well as all the other eShop only titles, are going to be vanished in the distant future. Right now, there are no signs of preserving all the 3DS games, like DDD Drum Dash, which of course can still change, but I would not trust on that. And the same will obviously happen once the Switch becomes irrelevant, with all these little sweet experiments gone forever. I really enjoy how they try out new things with this approach, but it also leads to somewhat bare bones experiences. I think Kirby Battle Royale really influenced how they think about these titles, since Battle Royale and Fighters 2, for example, aren't too different. Both of them have short adventure modes, online functionality, some unlockables, and the least amount of minigames / fighters games like these should have. The main difference is the price. While Battle Royale came out as a retail title with full price, Fighters 2 was more approachable and, let me say, self-conscious. But I wonder why they cannot simply release a game like Fighters 2 or, in this case, Dream Buffet, also with a clean retail box. Sometimes it feels like Nintendo just is not able to bring out a retail release that isn't full price. Enough talk about the circumstances surrounding the release, let's talk about the game. Naturally, we should not wait too much, but I hope there will be enough stuff so that Dream Buffet will not feel boring after one day. Fighters 2 was clever enough to hide the 100% behind a huge amount of grinding in order to keep psychos like me playing. I can see them doing the same here, and although many people would probably not be a fan of this idea, I would have nothing against it, since I will not say no to any reason playing a Kirby game. This could be done, for example, with online rankings, high scores, or time attacks in general. It's the absolutely most easy way to make your game alive and would be perfect considering the competitive nature of the gameplay. The level itself look already super appealing and varied, so I guess the core gameplay will be fun either way. According to Nintendo, in each round there's going to be a final battle at the end, which of course reminds all of us of Kirby Air Ride. Wait, did Kirby Air Ride 2 perish for this? It's even a racing game, what the f— so I hope it will be just as addictive. I do not really care for multiple characters, even though it would be extremely cool, but the focus is clearly on chunky Kirby, and if we get more level instead of additional playable characters, I would be more than fine with that. Assuming this game costs money and is not going to be free to play, there must be something to Dream Buffet. The Japanese website or Twitter or whatever stated the story premise of the game, so if they feel the need to even create a premise which isn't necessary at all, maybe we can see some kind of story mode. Naturally, this mode would be rather simplistic and just a mere listing of different races under different circumstances. But Fighters 2 did the same and is not too crazy to expect something similar again. Furthermore, on one of the shots in the trailer, we could see multiple Waddle Dees joining along, and despite the fact I'm not expecting them to be playable, one of them wears a little hat. Just like high scores or rankings and all that stuff, cosmetics are probably the next most easy way to mimic meaningful substance, and especially past games love to play with Kirby's appearance, be it the upgrades in Forgotten Land, gears in Super Clash, costumes in Battle Royale or skins in Fighters 2. It should be not too abstract to see this feature coming back. After all, if you create a small budget title like this, you have to be clever how you implement as much into your game as possible, with the least amount of work, and costumes fulfill that role perfectly. But my biggest hope and fear at the same time is the online mode. It's not 100% confirmed to my knowledge, but going by the hint at Nintendo's website, where they state there will be some online functionality implemented, I think we can assume there's going to be a mode. While Fighters 2 worked fine, I guess, the other Kirby games just straight out lagged like hell and were not pleasant online experiences. Of course, it's okay when all players have a stable connection, but in many cases it's not true and everyone has to suffer from spicy lags. The online mode is going to be a do or die moment for this game, and I was waiting for a new proper multiplayer online Kirby game for a very long while, so please hell don't screw that up. Otherwise, I'm not too disappointed that it's not like a second Dream Collection. We all would love to see a triple deluxe or Planet Robobot in glorious HD, but these games are as good as they are, and developers should never lazily rely on past successes. The Kirby franchise is very tame when it comes to re-releasing or remakes in general, and even though there's nothing against a proper remaster or remake collection, a Dream Buffet is more worth just because of its name. But before I start to enthuse about this fabulous title again, what are your hopes and fears for Kirby's Dream Buffet? Do you think this game will die rather quickly, or please its core fandom? Again, no proper closing sentence. But the music is still going, so Dream Buffet?